we were talking before, weren't we, Graham? I know we covered it on our previous programme, but there's a lot of changes going on, especially in all over the place, but some of them are quite good, like planning for building properties, for extending properties, for building other structures. I wouldn't say they're being done away with, but it's very good. Well, I think it's very clever what they're doing. They're eliminating a lot of the planning obstacles, and they're making the whole process a lot easier, and a lot of stuff you don't even need to gain planning permission now. I mean, there's going to be rules, but instead of submitting a planning application and being told what you've got to do, you can't do, they're going to put the criteria. So they might say, you know what, you can build what you want as long as there's X number of trees, or there's X number of mushrooms for Graham to sit on, or there's a certain amount of little old ladies that live on the street. But you've got to know what you can do. So as long as you conform to that, you don't have to apply for planning permission, which is a long, arduous and difficult thing to do. As it's bad enough if you have your own home that you're trying to expand, but it gets worse if you're in business. And I know so many builders, so many property developers, so many people that have such problems that they lay out fortunes for the land, and they're spending the next 5-10 years trying to get planning permission through for things. So I think that's got to be good for the economy. It also, I think it's been pushed, this idea of new properties being built, because there's a lot of demand for houses. We don't have enough houses, do we?
Yeah, it's a huge issue, and it has been for, 15, 20 years
Well, it just makes sense that we should be allowed to build and extend, not just commercial property, but for people, and build more apartments and build whatever. Sam, were you ever in the property game? Have you ever dealt with properties and stuff?
Sometimes bought businesses that had properties in them.
All right. No, I haven't. I've never really dealt in property. It's not been. Have you, Graham? Have you ever owned a house?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it, to be honest.
Have you ever lived in a house that you own? No, just a kennel.
Yeah, I have. But I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
But do you think they should build properties in Broughton Park?
I think they should build properties everywhere.
And Hampstead Heath.
And Hampstead Heath.
And Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, we don't have enough places for Jewish people to live, so we need big, expensive properties. And no, I think it's a good idea for the nation in general when we ease restrictions, no matter what it is, well, with responsibility. I mean, we don't want to lose our heritage, and we still want to have lovely buildings going back from 500 years ago.
Well,
and
I think the idea is there's 3 new zones, isn't there?
Yeah.
So there's growth. Yeah. There's protection, and then there's renewal.
Which makes sense.
Which, as a general rule, so we'll say this is protected, that's protected. The idea being that once something's cordoned off, it'll be left alone. But with as a country, we're desperate for this.
Oh, and I don't understand it, because we seem, wherever we go, we seem to be quite built up. But there's loads of things, and I've never understood why they don't use the brownfield sites more. They're just ugly land lying there, not doing anything. Do you know what I've never understood? There are tons and tons of shops that are just empty, or these upstairs of shops, and why they don't sort of convert them into flats.
That's already happening, actually. Yeah,
is it starting to?
That has been happening, especially in Birmingham.
Right. Yeah, but you've got to live in Birmingham then.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't particularly want to live, but if I've got a family, haven't I? So I wouldn't want to live in a shop. But
no, not in the shop. Above the shop, there's lots of people that live above shops. And there's some lovely 3-4 story flats that they're just dead. They're just nothing, and I don't know why they don't build it. And I know that I had a client once that used to. He actually approached one of the big betting firms at the time, and he took over he did a deal with them where he took over all the top floors of all their apartments, the ones with the separate entrance, and he converted them all into flats, and he had quite a lucrative rental income coming that for a while. And there's loads of things you can do if you're allowed to do it.
Yes, and that's where I am worried. It's going to be debated over the summer. I'm going to be watching it with great interest, because just like universal credit, really, really good idea. Yeah. Are they going to implement it well, though?
This is it. They seem to have great ideas but sort of get lost. It's like I know with the transport system, they say, great, don't take cars into town. Let's make parking incredibly expensive. But they don't give you an alternative.
Yes.
Because the buses still don't run properly and the trams never come on. You know, you still, they're not good.
It's like with the bedroom tax. They brought the bedroom tax in, but that was like the final phase where they should have built a load of new places first.
Yeah.
You should have built 500,000 new homes before you start punishing people for over-occupying council flats.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's like you've got great ideas, but they're just not thought of that much in the planning side and say, right, that's a great idea, but how are we going to implement it? Now, I would imagine that this new planning for buildings is going to have loads and loads of scope for people to take the mickey. But you know, I think it's good. You know, one of the things with property was that it was always for property developers and not even property developers, just people developing a single house or anything. It was always an area where people could launder money. Do you know what they used to do? Well, I mean, it's probably quite knowledgeable. You know, you get some money, you've obtained it by not declaring tax on it and selling things without VAT and stuff like that. And then they go and buy a house that's bit run down and use that money to do it up. So you've cleaned that money up, and when you come to sell the house, it all comes back in. You know, and you've cleaned it up. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to carry on watching, we've got loads of videos all around us. But if you have more real-world issues and something you'd like to talk about, do feel free to contact me. Just go to my website, stephenenglander.co.uk, fill in the form, tell me what it is roughly you want to talk about, and I'll be in touch. Thank you.